Howdy. Thank you for checking out my look at Ironheart. This is a solo tabletop role-playing game where you build a mech and its pilot, then take them off into a galaxy of your own making to live out and react to various prompts and scenarios. In this, we mix some of the base game with a little bit of the expansion Remembrance as well, and I think it's a definite pickup if you like the main game. In this game, you take your mech and pilot to do things in these different worlds and settlements like helping farmers or defeating rogue mech pilots. In this case, we encountered a world destroyed by some long-gone threat and a planet-wide storm that took over, so we have to try and survive as well as help a small group of people. This was a bit ramshackle, so I forgot to do the daily events of the game. I just blitzed through the story arc as I was a little short on time, but this is how the game is supposed to run. You have 7 actions you can do in a day. Experience a travel encounter, travel to a settlement, use a settlement amenity, begin a story arc, complete a story arc node, travel between planets using a spaceport, that takes a full day, and travel between systems using a spaceport, that takes 7 days. After which, you're supposed to settle down and rest for the night, thereby restoring some of the charge for your special ability. I just want to clarify that in my haste, I technically jumped a portion of the game rules, but I reasoned that being on a planet covered in storms, I really didn't have the option to go fly out of it, then come back to continue being battered by the storm. Didn't really make sense to me, but again, just wanted to clarify the game loop. If that makes no sense to you, keep watching and it will. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the actual play of Ironheart by Parable Games. Alright, so, today we are checking out Ironheart. I just ate. Seems like just a little while ago we were talking synergies, but yeah, your daughter was a little thing back then? Yeah, I know, that's wild, huh? Time will pass you by if you let it. You gotta stop and smell the roses every now and then. Or, you gotta stop and go explore a galaxy with your favorite mech companion. So, we have Ironheart, and because I'm being extra, the shop I went to had the Ironheart dice, the Ironheart pilot's logbook, and the Ironheart expansion, Remembrance. So, like I said, I went a little bit crazy on this one, but I mean, dude, just look at this art. I think there's a spread in the back. Yeah, like look at that. Like, the artist is incredible. Hold on. I have to give a shout out. The artist is... Who is the artist? The art is Ben Alexander. So, yes, Ben, you do absolutely incredible work. Is there one in the back on this one? There is not. But, ooh, that's kind of cool. I didn't even see that. But there's like art development pages and stuff. That's neat. I only checked this one out briefly, although I'm really excited about this one. But we'll get there in a minute. So we're gonna put everything off to the side. And then this is just a logbook. This gives you journaling entries, which is kind of how they want you to journal the game. And then the reference just gives you really quick things like how combat works, how the checks work, etc., etc. And then the way that the game is supposed to work is every time you go to a story arc, you make a little journal entry. Kind of like, not quite like Star Trek, but almost like Star Trek, right? So, you know, like, ooh, stardate 00, whatever. We're on planet blank, it's the date, and here's the time, and then your journal entry, etc. So, it's a neat one. I'm enjoying it. I've done 2 full story arcs, which I'll explain in a second. And then I have never used these die before. There's another little ability in the back here that we can read, but we'll get to that. But yes, I've never used these die. They're very interesting. Since I figured, you know, one, I always like supporting small businesses. So if there is a TTRPG store anywhere near me in the greater Central Florida area, I'm going to support them. Also, I mean, like, why not? So we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a... Oh, okay, they're just normal D6, but they're themed with Ironheart. That's cool. If these roll bad, I will give this to one person in chat. Not really. And of course, you can find it online. There is a character sheet. So we will get to making our character in a minute. But first, let's just go over what Ironheart even is. So obviously, as you can see right from there, solo mech exploration RPG. And this is the pilot's handbook, which kind of functions as both like a player's handbook as well as a GM guide. And as you can see, I already put some quick tips, some bookmarks to, check everything out. So let's just go through this real quick. What is Ironheart? Okay, Ironheart is a solo role-playing game about exploring new worlds while piloting large robotic machines called mechs. You develop stories and record them in your writing journal, using a 6-sided die to randomize your encounters and resolve the challenges you put forward, or they put forward. By rolling dice, you will navigate new worlds through a series of prompts ranging from assisting locals with minor problems and worries, to fighting mechs and other threats in daring battles. These prompts will ask you to make decisions, roll dice, complete challenges, and write about your experience in your pilot's logbook to record your story. First, you will need to create your pilot, the character you play as, using prompts to inspire your origin and goals. Next, you will construct a mech, your constant companion, transportation, and protection throughout your adventure in the many worlds of the Astral Union. So, as you can see, have them labeled here, this is lore. The game is set in the far future in the interstellar conglomerate of cultures known as the Astral Union, or the AU, cradled at the heart of the Aegeic Galaxy. Cool. I gotta turn Discord off. Apologies. Okay. So yes, think of the AU as our world, so to speak, and it's a whole bunch of planets, systems, galaxies, etc., etc. There are various different societies. We're not going to go super into the lore, but the Astral Union came into formation nearly 1,000 years ago, found at the end of a conflict between the League of Urvo and Kervian Prefecture, and a priest brokered by the Varziz Triactory. There's a whole bunch of words, much like some fantasy novel that you read. You're going to get a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't mean anything to you yet. But this is pretty much saying, hey, there was a war. The war eventually ended, and then a bunch of societies came together to join. And then they made what is essentially the AU. And the only other thing we really need to know from this is that there was war with... what the hell are they called? I forgot what they're called in this. There's corporations because it's sci-fi, of course. And the Nephilim, yes. The Nephilim. The AU was rocked by an extragalactic invasion by the unknowable strand fleets of the Nephilim, known as the Emergence War. So, think of the Nephilim as like the Covenant, or like the Yuuzhan Vong, if you know Star Wars. God, I still wish they were retconned. But the Nephilim are essentially like this existential threat that came away from our galaxy came from a different galaxy into ours, and we still kind of see them. We can see bits and pieces of them. You don't always run into them, but they're one of those things where it's like there is no negotiation. It's kind of like the Borg. There is no negotiation or diplomacy. It is us versus them, and unfortunately you got to beat them. So we got that. During the initial wars way back, they also created the mechs, and the mechs have something called an ion core. Oh my god, ion core, ion heart. See, it's starting to come together now. So the ion core is essentially this breakthrough in technology. I forgot which culture made it. I'm sure it's right in front of my face, but I'm not reading it. But one of the cultures made the ion core, and that is what eventually made it's like the heart and soul of the mech. And what's cool with the mechs is that when you're a pilot, you have to like sync to the ion core, and we'll see in a little bit there's actually a sync bond, and it's used for like special abilities. But the heart and brain, called the ion core, is essentially, like I said, it's like the brain, it's like everything from the mech. It has your personality. Can you fail the sync? I don't think so, because they're kind of like heroic abilities, but we'll check. Maybe we can. It's also in the game sense, it's like a meta currency, kind of like inspiration, like bardic inspiration for D&D, where with this you gain so much every day. So you can use that. The way the thought process is, you have your mech, and your mech has the ion core, and over time, the pilot and the mech kind of like mesh together, they sync together, because like your mech actually can have like a personality and whatnot, like a temperament. And using your ion core, you can use your sync, your bond essentially, to power yourself in various different things. I think it's mostly combat, but you could probably also word it or like cheese it to do like non-combat stuff. Yeah, get in the mech Shinji essentially. So what we're going to do, and then some other small bits, we travel, you fly through. There are corporations. There are psionics, which is essentially space magic. Around 0.0012% of the population can manifest abilities. I think we can, but we'll go with that. We'll go with that later. And then this, of course, again, will give you the mechs, the ion core, mech sentience. They're not technically considered fully sentient, but they can like kind of reason and problem solve on their own. So if you're interested again with the lore, you have the timeline. You can go through all that. But if you don't want to, then we can go to getting started. I know that there's a glare. It's either have the glare or like work in the darkness. That works a little bit better for you, right? That works fine, I think. How about something like a light? Sure, why not? Okay, so, and then this would be, what you need to play. You need dice and the character sheet. What is a solo RPG? That's, if you know what both of those two words together are, then you kind of figure it out. So, starting your story, we recommend you start by reading through some of the lore and history, where your story will be set. You don't need an encyclopedic knowledge of Ironheart's setting, but having some grounding and knowledge will help you when you journal your story and provide some inspiration. And then go to character creation. The light makes it easier for y'all to read, so we're just gonna rock with it. I can't read and I'm only expecting narration. Very true, very true. All right, so character creation, let's just go to it. So we can make our pilot first, and then we'll make our mech. So you play it from the perspective of a pilot and their mech. And what's cool, it's a solo RPG, but if you want to play it two-player, one person be the pilot, one person be the mech. There you go. So your pilot and mech share the sync bond, like I said earlier, which determines how often you can safely engage it and do heroic actions. I can't read that text. Then I'm just going to read it to you, and it's going to be bright for me, because it makes it easier for me to read, because I'm getting to be an old man. Anyways, so we have our character sheet, right? All of our stats start at 0, but are altered by your pilot temperament, mech weight class, and leveling up through experiences. We only technically have 4 stats in this. We have our pilot body, our pilot presence. The body is essentially like physical checks or dexterity checks. Your presence is kind of like your charisma and intimidation. Your mech brawn is feats of strength, crazy. And then mech reflex is kind of like dexterity for your mechs. Make it so you can read the best? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Your pilot is the character whose story you will explore throughout this adventure. They have traveled to the rim of the AU for a reason, forging their own destiny and braving adventures. To begin creating your pilot, you will need to generate your characteristics. You can roll d6 for each table, and select the results, or just select whichever one you wish. Ultimately, this is the character you'll be spending your entire playthrough with. So, we are going to do it all, we're going to do it live, baby, and we're going to do it all random. So if you want just a quick little picture of the different species, and there's 2 more in the expanded one, which we might mess with. So we have Apollonian, humans from the Apollo Theta system, so that's like our human. The Varziz, which is reptilian inhabitants. The Urvon, which are kind of like bear people. The Kairos, which are bat people. The Curvi are tall centaur-like people, and the Monau are essentially cat people. And then we have other goals. And if you're curious, since we're going, I'm very tempted to also rock this, because this one's a lot of fun. But there are 2 other ones from the expansion. The Rakayan, who are spider people, and the Ionborn, who are essentially synthetics. Think like Geth or something. I'm tempted. Should we... Because we're going to roll for everything. Should we go for the expanded as well? Possibly be a spider person or a robot? Or do we go with just our base? Just our normal, whatever. Just the base game, non-expansion. Because I think we could probably just go base game for now, right? Yeah, I think expansion. Pandemonium. Okay, all 8 options. Let's go. Oh, also, I did add a channel point redeem. It should be in there now. I forgot how much it is, but I was trying to make it so that you'd actually burn your channel points. But you can re-roll any one of my rolls. I think it's like 1 an hour or something like that, or 2 an hour. But 6. I played as a Monau last time. I don't want to do that. 8. There we go. Ionborn. Okay. So we are going to be a robot. So what should our robot name be? Our origin is... Oh, no. Can I use a more visible pen? I don't think it really matters for y'all, but... Ionborn. Yeah, you can kind of read that. 500 points. Yeah, exactly. You took away the Japanese story. Oskau is returned. Yeah, well... Don't worry about it. We're not going to be kitty people right now. Like I said, since I have the expansion, I may as well rock with it, right? Let's see, is there anything? The Ionborn are pretty cool. Since we're doing it, we'll give a little chunk of lore. So they are essentially hive-minded bots that were broken away. They were initially just made as kind of like, laborers, and they became sentient. They have something called the Stream, which is kind of like an uploaded consciousness. So you can actually hop from body to body, which is pretty cool. If we want like a name example, the Ionborn scientist and philosopher Arceus92 created this stream. Arceus. So see, Arceus is in everything. Ionborns have a unique bond with their mechs and a deep appreciation for mechanical constructs. As such, they often form bonds that are different from those. For many Ionborns, their relationship with their mechs take on a more caring and nurturing role. So we can romance our mech! And it says that, like, hey, since you're the newest species, so to speak, a lot of people are not super trusting of a fully sentient robot. So hopefully we don't deal with any prejudice, but we'll see. And if you're curious, there are 3 different belief systems with them. They are the integrationists, who those Ionborn believe that they should be cooperating and becoming part of the AU. There's the separationists, who say that we'd be stronger as a collective if we just stay just by ourselves. And the Arc Sailors, who are just explorers. Oh, they're like Quarians. They have arc ships. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So there we go. There we go. It doesn't see anything for name. But since we're using all of these, then we'll roll out a D8 for all this stuff. So, we're going to use the expansion stuff. So that'll be fun. So we are an Ionborn. How about... Since it's probably like a code dash number, so why don't we do... We're going to be serious here, okay? We want to be serious. So I say we do... it was a tiny bit of lag. I'm pretty upset about that, but whatever. We're going to do... Alright, I know what our name's going to be. Our name is going to be Ballast 67. There we go. We're going to be Ballast 67. I love it. I love it. It's doing good. Alright, so our temperament. Let's see what our temperament is. 7. No, that'll be our goal. Our goal first. Our pilot's goal is to see the galaxy. After being confined to one corner of the galaxy, you hope to spread your wings and explore more than you ever thought possible. New cultures, new sights, and new ways of life await you on this quest for knowledge. Whether you document and catalog or live truly in the moment, the worlds are truly your oyster. All right. So we are going to see the galaxy. All right. And then for our temperament, 5. Our temperament is mercurial. You make things up as you go along. Rules are more like guidelines. All right. Mercurial. And then with that, we have a bonus. So we can use one ion core ability a day without using a sync point. Okay, so we essentially can get a free heroic ability. So that's dope. And then I will do 1 free ability per day. There you go. And when you're doing solo RPGs, I mean, you just kind of make it as your own, right? Like you do however it is you want. If you want to make everything nice and clean, you can. My handwriting is absolutely not clean, so you don't really. So I don't have to really worry about that. Let's go. He is. Let's go like this, and this is going to be our guy. He doesn't have a nose, he doesn't have ears. Yeah. There you go. There is Ballast 67. There you go. Perfect. Beautiful. I love it. All right. And now we have to build our mech. So again, we're going to roll just about every, let's see, do we do that first or no? The origins, is the origin last? Okay, yeah. I'm used to trying to figure out what my apprentice dudes write. Yeah, I'm also writing slower than I normally would. So. All right. So we have 3 different weight classes: light, medium, and heavy. And I mean, if that image gives you any indication, I'm pretty sure this is a heavy mech, but we shall see. So let's go. This one only has 6. Or no, this one only has 3. So 1, we are going to be using a light mech. So mech weight class is light. Easy enough. Bro, gotta chill with this. Alright, so our mech shielding is 34. And that's essentially our HP. Our mech reflex is +1. Our mech brawn is -1. And these will change because we can level up. Alright, so we have 3 attacks. And our sync bond starts at 2. If I remember right, there was something with the Ion-born. I think we use more Ion points or whatever. Hello? Maybe? I thought I read that somewhere, but maybe not. I don't know. Light plus agility? Yeah. I mean, it could be pretty fucking dope. Where are you gonna find out? Alright, so we have one range system, one melee, and one auxiliary system. So let's build a bitch, shall we? So with this, we need a D12, or we can just roll 2d6. Let's go you and you. There are actually, because there are two more options in the expansion. I don't have a D14, and I don't have a D7. I'll do a D8, and then I'll just subtract 1. Right? No, what the fuck am I talking about? Let's go D12, and then a D2, which will cut the 4 in half. Okay, 6, 5, 1. So that would actually be 12. We're starting with a mortar cannon. Okay. And I might use a reroll if it's not amazing. So, okay. So I'll give you the breakdown for all of them. We have an auto blaster, a beam oculus, a scattergun, shotgun, a railgun, a plasma launcher, a turbo laser, an electrovolter, rocket pods, bolt thrower, shockwave suppressor, and a mortar cannon. I mean, a light mech with a mortar cannon can probably do some damage, right? We can probably do some stupid stuff with that. I think we're gonna go mortar cannon. But no, like I don't want to make the choice. You guys choose if you want to do a reroll or not. So we're gonna do mortar cannon, which is 4 plus a d6. Motors are good, and so are mortars. You're good. So, it has an ability, suffer -1 to hit, but gain a free attack for every attack you make in the range step. Alright, these attacks do not generate extra attacks. Okay, so I assume it's like, you have less accuracy, but you have a higher chance to like hit things. So, -1 to hit. And we gain extra attack per ranged attack. I realize the entire first like hour of this is going to be character creation, but whatever, we're having fun. Alright, so again, with our melee options, because combat is split up into ranged and melee. So 5, 6, 7. A molecular whip. Okay, yeah, I mean, that sounds kind of dope. For the melee systems, we have a thunder gauntlet, a neutron lance, a power blade, a concussion maul, a roto saw, a molecular whip, a martial staff, diamond claws, a forge hammer, a beam sword, or a fusion axe. So I mean, we got if we use the molecular whip for games like Skyrim or yeah, I know. That's fine. All right, so molecular whip. It is also a 4 plus d6. And then entropic snare. After hitting with this weapon, gain +1 to disengage at the end of the round. After hit, +1 to Alright, which actually that works really well. That works really well for a light mech, because if we come up against a heavy, we can fucking dash, you know? Our auxiliary systems are the auxiliary... Okay, so we do have extra auxiliary systems. That is just a D8 this time. So that's nice and easy. Mech 2 and Castlevania ass whooping, pretty much. 7. So for our auxiliary system, multi-armed endospine. You may declare one attack per combat an automatic hit before rolling, but suffer +1 to the next roll you make. Okay. Fuck it. That sounds pretty good. Oh, I can do this. Yeah, no, that sounds pretty good. It's essentially sharpshooter. Multi-armed endo spine. Okay. Declare one attack auto hit. -1 to next attack. Alright, cool. That works for me. So, well, okay, we'll get to the appearances in a second. Because we have another 8, so D8. We also do our appearance, and we chose number 7, which is the Rakayan, which is the spider people. Common features: web imagery, multi-oculist head unit, sonic absorption pads, 8 mechanical limbs. So we already have the limbs from our auxiliary system, so let's go like, I don't know, we'll go like a small-ish head, and it's going to have 8 visual sensors. And then I guess we'll do limbs out this way. Yeah. Okay. And then web imagery. I don't know how to fucking draw a web, so... Yeah, I got no idea how to draw a web. But that's how our mech is going to look. So, we chose Ballast 6-7 for our mech. I would assume we probably would choose some name for it, some, you know, name as well, even though it is essentially the spider people's mech. Let's go... What's a good name? Name dash number. Let's go... Oh, shit. Easy. Belmont? 9. We have our whip. We're essentially Castlevania-ing it. So hell yeah, dude. And then our mech origin. There is 8 origins, right? Do we have origins on our expansion as well? Blazed 420, listen. Oh, it's a D9, so okay, we'll... 3 + 1 is 4. So, Fated Purchase. Alright, so, Fated Purchase. You set out to buy a mech from the stores of a nearby workshop. As soon as you saw this one, you couldn't take your eyes away. The mech's rugged frame speaks of a long and storied history, but try as you might, your mech can't access its memory banks. Alright, I like it. Fated Purchase. Cool. And then the cool thing, one of the really cool things I like about this game, mech specialization. So remember how I said like there are combat roles, but you also will have non-combat options. So for instance, we have in the normal one, We have bridge builder, harvester, entertainer, repair and rescue, transport hauler, and shepherd. So what you could do, say like one of the stories is you're helping a farming village. If you happen to be a harvester, then you could use maybe one of your melee weapon or something to be able to go and till a field or take down some trees or whatnot. It's really cool because it's not always about the combat. For the other two, if you're interested, caterer and miner as well. But we will do, which one did I roll? Oh, I didn't roll yet, okay. So D8 again, 6. A shepherd. The mech will care for local animals, helping them cross streams and generally fuss over them. Okay, sure, why not? So maybe Belmont 9, while we're going to go explore around the town, maybe they just go help out with the local animal population. I think it'd be pretty cool. And then, of course, we have our leveling, but we're not going to worry about that because we're level 1, of course. The way that leveling works is you have story circuits. So essentially you have a main story and then you have small little individual bits in it that end up to a finale. That's one story circuit. So when you finish your second one, then you'll get a level up. And the way that the level ups work, you must determine 3 things. A memory, what happened in your past, the location, where did it occur, and the internalization. How will your character use these thoughts going forward? And then of course you can roll for them or you can look, but some of them will give +1 to an attack, or +1 to your pilot's presence, or maybe +1 to the sync bond, or maybe remove a battle scar, or what have you. It's pretty cool. You get to your memory essentially awakens something in you that betters you. So we got all that. That's all good. And now we are going to play Ironheart itself. So like I said, the game loop is pretty simple. We have a system and a planet. So we actually can build them or we can take them. We build a settlement, which again, we can either build or they're already pre-made ones. And then we start a story circuit, play through the circuit. And then after we're done with that circuit, we go back to the settlement. So, character creation only took 40 minutes, not too bad. All right, so another thing is the rolls are very easy. Just about everything, if you roll a d4, you pass. Or a 4 plus. A 4 plus is almost always a check, and the enemies don't attack. The enemies don't do anything, you dodge. So like when you attack, you're rolling to see if you hit. When the enemies attack, you're rolling to see if they hit, and you dodge. And it's pretty quick, honestly. So we'll break it down real quick. So we have our checks, of course. We have our stats, which is our pilot presence and body, our mech brawn, and our reflex. And then, of course, we have our shielding. And our shielding is essentially our health. We can get it repaired every day because each settlement that we land down will always have like a mech shop. But we have gone through that. We have gone through the specialization. We have gone through exploring. So that's pretty much it. All right, so I say we just kind of hop into it. I say we hop on into it. So we'll use the base game just to generate a world. And is there in the handbook? Okay, there's no real spot to make a world, but that's fine. We'll just roll it on the back of our character sheet. We have no quirks yet, and we have no battle scars yet, which is fine. Not too worried about that. So we'll go through and we'll make a world really quick. 2. So this system that we're jumping into has 3 planets. It is a 2. It is a red dwarf. Okay. Is the star. So it's a small cooling star. Oh, well, yeah, okay, whatever. And then there's a galactic anomaly. An abandoned, I don't like that. 6, a temporal anomaly. Ooh, that could be fun. temporal anomaly. Alright. And then the territory that we're in, which we'll see people, the Varziz Triactory. Varziz. Corporations with a vested interest is the Grammel Keeler Resources. So, Grammel Keeler Resources. So there we go. We have our star, and then joining that is we have 2 planets. So there we go. And what will we name this system? I don't fucking know. Someone give me a name for the system. I don't really care what. Shaz, sure. So we are in the Zircon Crag. That'll be the first planet. We are in the Shaz system. Cool. And we got 3 planets, so let's roll our first one. So, what type of planet is it? Or first, here is our native life forms. There is no native life forms. No native life forms. That sucks. Alright, the type of planet is a Chthonian planet. The remnants of a dead gas giant, only the husk of its core remains. Alright, so Chthonian or Chthonian planet. Dead gas giant. Maybe we could be finding out why the hell it is a dead gas giant. The corporations with vested interest are the Volton Holdings. No idea who those people are. I could look back in a second, which I will. Alright, that is our first planet, and that will be called Zircon Crag. Zircon Crag. Alright, and within that system, we could have a biome. We could make a biome, sure. 3, Frosted Plains. Alright. Sir, sit here for a second. Frosted Plains. And then we will have our settlement. Our settlement is a sprawling municipality. 200 plus buildings, 1,000 plus people. So the way I'm going to interpret that is that floating over the gas giant is a very large station. So what is the station's name going to be? Let's do sprawling station. It will be named... What would a giant station with 1,000 plus people be called? You know what? Fuck it. That's actually pretty good. Saron M59S. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good station name. That's actually a pretty good name for a mech, too. Alright. And with every station that we have the core amenities, which is a settlement hall, which is a way you can start a quest line, a mech workshop, which is a way that you can fix your mech, a spaceport, which is where you can travel back and forth, and a trading post, which is you can find weapons. weapons and auxiliary systems. And then 3 extras. So for each additional amity. Yep. So we also have R&R. A watering hole. Not that. Not that. A gym, which we can potentially buff our stats up with. And a library. Alright, cool. Alright, so our first planet, which, you know, our first planet is Zircon Crag. The settlement we'd be finding would be Seron M59S, and it's a very large station. It has a lot of amenities, has a lot of people too. Probably the hub for everything around here. And then we'll get to the travel encounters whenever we actually do some travel. Currently, we're not going to. Combat, I don't need to worry about. Enemies, we don't need to worry about. And oh, that's right. So the core abilities I was talking about earlier, you have universal ones. Every single mech has them, and they're listed here. Which when I get to combat, we'll go into it. All right. So a mech quirk. These might help make some interesting contrasts. Okay, sure, fuck it. Are there any mech quirks in this? No, there are not. Okay. All right, cool. 2, noble bearing. Honorable to a fault. You cannot make more ranged attacks than melee attacks in a round, except for the I won't miss. You cannot make more ranged attacks than melee attacks? Bro, that sucks. That wouldn't work with our mortar, because we take an extra hit for every hit that we hit. 6, Beacon of Calm. Mech has achieved digital serenity. Reroll a failed presence check while in the mech once per day. Yeah, we'll do that. Beacon of Calm. Alright, cool. Don't have to worry about enemies yet. So, the meat and veg, as they say. We have our story circuit. So, each story circuit is broken into 6 parts, ultimately leading to a dramatic conclusion. So, what we can do, since there are story circuits in both of these, we will actually go to that. I didn't actually label these ones. Oh, okay, so this wouldn't be... If we go into the weave in here, we have to go through these in order, so let's not do those yet. It's interesting, but let's not do those. The whole thought process is, since it's a unregulated or a newer space in the galaxy, you wouldn't just like jump in and leave, if that makes sense. Kind of like if a new country popped up, you wouldn't just like pop in there and then just be like, okay, we're done, and then leave. So let us go 4. So we're doing a protective story circuit. Okay. Cool. Cool. And what's the first one we're going to do? Planet-wide storm. Ooh. That sounds fun. Actually, it doesn't. That sounds terrible, but sure. All right, so planet-wide storm. Let's bust our journal out. We are on Zircon Crag. The date, don't worry about that. The time, let's say, I don't know, early morning. We'll have rolled into Seron M59S in the early morning. I'll write all this stuff down later. And can you whatever you're doing over there. The skies are obscured as a storm of incredible proportions begins to hit the settlement you and your mech find yourselves in. Scans from orbit show it is covering the whole planet. There's no escaping this one. Will you help the community batten down the hatches and ride out this storm? This extreme weather is very dangerous, but it can vary wildly depending on what kind of planet you found yourself. Take a look at the planet geography and decide what kind of storm is besieging the world you find. If you're unsure where to go, what kind to go for, here are some suggestions you can roll for. All right. No, absolutely not. I am one of those in this story. Chthon. Okay, so since we are in it's a Chthonian planet, and then this is going to be a system around it. So I'm going to say there's probably either lightning or radiation storms. What do you think sounds more fun for a dead gas giant that's kind of been hollowed out? I think radiation storms would make sense, right? Because the planet doesn't have the sphere to be able to protect itself from like the solar winds and everything. Lightning? Okay. We'll roll with lightning. Cool. All right, so let's go. Narratively, radiation opposition to robot person lightning. That makes sense. That makes sense, actually. For the possibility of gas pocket explosion? Sure, why not? All right, so would this really work with a broken up planet? Let's say that it's not fully hollowed out. Let's say that large chunks of the planet still are there, but like the core is essentially gone. Let's say it almost looks like something collided with the planet, and then that whole piece is just gone. So that's how we'll do. So the visibility drops sharply as the storm front collides with your position. Navigating your way to safety is going to be difficult and dangerous. Neither you nor your mech are able to see very far at all in this raging weather. What's obscuring your vision? How do you find your way to safety? How are you feeling in this moment of crisis? How does your mech react to the severe weather swirling around them? So, this section of storm is going to take some pushing to get through. In order to escape this turbulent weather for a moment, you're going to need to succeed in a series of checks. For each check you fail, you take 2 damage to your shielding, the exposure to the storm chipping away at you. A failed check must be reattempted until successful. Alright, so the solid core of a gas giant? I mean, Chthonian, it didn't really give me much more than that. Chthonian planet, the remnants of a dead gas giant, only the husk of its core remains, a lifeless shell. Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. So let's say that there are like small bits of continent left over floating on the core. That, I guess that would make sense given the, given what it says. So let's go. So for some god-awful reason, we land here. Maybe because we were let known that there's some rare resource, right? And I mean, we are an explorer. We are here to see the whole galaxy. So we're going to come on in. We're going to land. At the time, the storm wasn't doing too bad. Like it didn't really pick up, but once we landed and we were exploring for a bit, this giant lightning storm washed over. And this entire continent that we're on is just lightning storm. Just fucking lightning storm. So, Mech Brawn, our first one. Winds whip at your chassis, the forces of nature exerting every pressure they have on you. I have a -1 to Brawn, so this is going to suck unless we hit a 6. A 4, -1, that's 3, so we unfortunately failed, so we're down 32. So let's just go boop boop. That's 3 again. We need to hit a 5. So we're down to 30 shield. That's Also a 4. Okay. 28 shield. Let's try a different fucking die. 5. There we go. Okay. Remember, everything is pretty much like a 4 or more. Okay, so we took 6 points of shielding from that. So, the winds whip up, the forces of nature exerting every pressure they have upon you. Can you push through it? Being a smaller mech, the wind does batter us to hell and back, and we're just rocking around in the storm like nothing. But thankfully, our boy Belmont, he was able to finally push on through, and let's say we found a gigantic frickin' stone that we were in, like a piece of mountain jutting out that we were able to take shelter in the storm for a second. Next is the pilot's body. The temperature inside your mech is becoming unbearable. The storm testing your body to its limit. Can you endure? I have +0. So yes, I can endure. +5. Need a sip of my sippy sip. So Ballast is going to knock on, I guess, like the bit of the inside of the mech, and we'll say it's getting very warm in here. Is there anything we can do to change that? And Belmont, being his quirk is the beacon of calm, so nothing really oh shit, wait, no, what's his temperament? Didn't we get temperament, or was it just mech quirks? Maybe it was just mech quirks. Oh, okay. I thought there was also like a temperament, but maybe I'm just going crazy. Oh, that's what it was. Yes, the Ion Core temperament. And it's nothing actually to do game-wise, it's more just like for roleplay and whatnot. Nah, we didn't get that AC package, pretty much. Since he is based on a spider, and he is a very calm thing. I don't know, would it have like a hissing voice? I wouldn't think so. Instead, Belmont will be very, very chill. I'm sorry, Ballast. We have not installed the proper systems to be able to make my insides more manageable. Perhaps at our next settlement stop we can. Soft whispers? Ooh. Oh, hold on. Alright, music just kicked back on. That's good. Another hour? We're not going to be another hour, so that's fine. Belmont says, I will remind you as soon as we are in the next settlement. Soft whispers with a little fan to feel like breathing in your ear. I can't do that currently with my voice, but just theater of the mind it. So we were able to, thankfully, we were sitting in there. And then the last one is Pilot's Presence. Focusing your mind and senses, you begin to try to see beyond the storm. What landmarks do you discover, and can you see a way out? All right. 1. All right, so there is another 2. 5, thank God. Okay. The shields are starting to give us yellow. It's starting to give us a little bit of a warning that, like, hey, the lightning and the winds, like, it's kind of messing with us. So Ballast arguing with his robot brethren says, just look for a way out. Look, can you see anything outside of this rock? And once we escape the storm, how do you and your mech feel? What did you endure? How much damage did you take? Ooh. So we don't have to... So what would we find in the middle? Let's say a large, maybe like a decrepit manufacturing facility. We see it just off in the distance, and we just kind of stomp our way on out there, right? And again, if you were doing this solo, you'd be getting it in your little logbook, or, I mean, you can make videos, you can do whatever the hell you want. Time, it starts at 5 a.m. Assuming we even track time that way in the distant future. So, where did you... So, you discover a place to provide shelter and so much need a respite for the dreadful winds. Where do you find to take shelter? Are you alone or is the shelter occupied by others? What do you do to make yourself and others comfortable? So, the Belmont, of course, being the... quite literally, the beacon of peace that he is. He says, there is... old manufacturing facility on our 10, and then proceeding, and as he's stomping on through, because again, remember, he's a lightweight mech, he's pretty quick, so he's just running through this freaking wind like it's nothing. Lightning kind of strikes nearby, hits the shield, and then we finally are able to get up into this shelter. And of course, you don't have to do all of these in order, which is interesting. You just have to complete at least 3 of these stories, so to be able to finish it. All right, so we have our shelter. So I'm just going to say, are there other people? I'm just going to do D4, 1 to 2. There are people. 3 to 4. There are not. 2. Okay, so there are other beings with us. Can't grab a D4 for shit. Alright, so as we are able to get on through, let's say that there's like one of the garages, or what used to be a garage, is open. And there's really not much in terms of the manufacturing, like, technology that's still in there. There's probably the odd conveyor belt and some maybe scaffolding and whatnot, but for the most part, just about all of it is taken apart. And it's just, I'm gonna say it's mostly open, but there are some small tents kind of popped up, and some like ramshackle shacks that were just made in haste just to be able to get a tiny bit out of the environment. So pilot presence check to help calm any inhabitants of the shelter. If successful, regain 1 sync bond point. If you're on your own, either roll a pilot's presence check to calm your mech, or a mech brawn check to shield your pilot, whoever needs the support the most. If successful in either check, regain 1 sync bond point. We haven't even lost one yet, but sure. So, I did not calm them. That is a 1. I did not calm them. So let's say that there are a bunch of the Kaidos, I think? The Bat People. There's a bunch of the Bat People, and they are quite literally flapping about. And, you know, they're talking in their high-pitched voices that they have, and they're kind of squeaking a little bit. I hop out of the mech, and for a second, I'm going to assume that these guys have never seen an Ion-born. So for a second, they all pause because they just saw a mech jump out of a mech. Like, most people have never seen that. Most people have never seen an Ion-born, and seeing a robot jump out of a robot is kind of weird, like nesting Matryoshka dolls. And so I jump out for a second, says, please, let's stay calm. The wind is blowing, but it's okay. We have rest, we have shelter, and as I'm trying to go, they just start squeaking and flapping around a bit and, you know, freaking out and whatnot. I'm going to say that Belmont 9 bends down to me for a second, says, I don't think that is working. I think it's best if we just leave them for the time being. And he says, okay, well, that's we're not here to see people. We're here to see the galaxy, see the known reaches. Neither of those checks that check wasn't successful, so we did not regain 1 sync bond point. That is fine. We still have 2. And it says, for each day that you stay here, you can recharge 1d6 mech shielding. I'm going to make the assumption that every time we stay, we're going to have to try and calm them again. So first, 1. I gain 1 point back. Cool. And then let's try and make a presence check again. 1. Okay. These Kaidos are freaking the fuck out. They are just freaking out, and they're gonna keep on freaking out, and they're not gonna stop freaking out. And you can, I can hear them kind of squeaking about the robots and the robots and the robots. And we sit there and we're resting for a bit because we don't have to like eat or anything. We don't have to worry about that. There's also not like a hunger mechanic or anything, which is good because hunger mechanics ruin games. But they're still freaking out because there's robots on top of robots, and they probably think that we're coming to, you know, steal their little bat ears or whatever. Alright, we're going to stay one more day, see if we can recharge our shields a little bit more. 6, baby! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're down to only 33 shielding, so that's good. Alright, and since we're here for another day, we'll try and calm them. Oh, 3. Still didn't go. They seem to chill a little bit more, just a tiny bit more, but they can... As the days are going on, we're hearing, you know, robots, and we're thinking we should probably leave before they get hostile. We don't know if they're going to, but we should probably leave. So, unfortunately, our first meeting with the Kairos people didn't go too well, mainly because they were just scared of us, which sucks for them. But let's take a look at this next one. The storm rages in separate members of the local community, some lost and some without shelter. Members of the settlement implore you to help find 2 souls lost in the storm and to return them safely. Who are these lost individuals? Do you accept the request to provide aid? I'm not gonna lie, these bats are kind of freaking out, right? They're freaking out and they don't like us. Would I really go help them? I mean, I'm mercurial, so yeah. Ballast 6-7 is... They're... You know, they definitely have more of the benevolent side to them. So I'm gonna say we're gonna sit there. And we're gonna sit for a minute because one of the Kaidos finally has come over and has came to talk to us. It's taken a little while, and they're kind of freaked out a little. Let's say their disposition, they are cheery. I think helping would be beneficial, but damn. So, if we don't... I think I read that. If we fail or we refuse help, we lose 1 sync bond point. So, this Kairos comes over to us. We don't even ask his name because it's not even like a concept really to us. And he's sitting there and he's chittering pretty high pitched, and he goes, "Hey, there's some people lost. There's some people lost up in the storm. If you guys look like you can survive the storm a little bit better. So it would be really cool, and I think all of us would be really happy if you could maybe go and help us find our 2 friends. Like it's really scary out there, and we can't fly, not in this." And so Ballast and Belmont are going to sit for a bit. They're going to discuss. I'd like to think, since they're both synthetic, they probably like discuss in their mind, right? In this stream that that the Ionborn talk about. So do you think it's right? I think it's right, but should we help them? They've just been very, very off-put by us this whole time. And Belmont is going to say, well, they've probably never seen one of your kind before. I feel it would help settle the mood and possibly help in building the community if we were to go and find these 2 people. Also, remember, Belmont is a shepherd. So if he can corral things, I don't think it matters if it's a sheep or if it's a bat person. I think that Belmont, either way, is going to want to shepherd, you know, the lost creatures from his flock. So Belmont says, I think it would be in our best interest if we go and help. We go find these Kairos that have been lost in the storm. It's... Think of it as if it were one of your own. And Bala says, well, we can just go to a new body. We don't really need to worry about if one gets destroyed. He says, yes, okay, but think if you couldn't, and your family was out there. It would be logical to want to help them, correct? And Ballas goes, you're right. You know? You're right. You big eight-eyed palooka. Yeah. Organically canon that you end up with a herd of followers somehow. I don't know, man. The cult thing was a joke at first. And we land on a Chthonian planet. I mean, there's the Lovecraft add to it too. There's not going to be like a tentacle monster in the clouds or anything, but yeah. And so we say, you know what? All right. And the Kairos goes, oh, thank you. Bad Heron, let's go. Yes, see, what's this company? Parable Games. You have to tell me. That's really important. Do the Ionborn fuck? You gotta answer that question for me. Because if I'm starting my bat harem right now, let's go. Sure, man, whatever. I don't know. Oh, God. 1 second. All right. I mean, plugs be plugging. Hey, girl, are you plug and play? Because, anyway. All right. So, yes, we're going to go out. I think we'll just go through this entire story, since we're like halfway there, right? So the first one is the mech reflex check, which we have a +1. If you refuse to help or fail to rescue both souls. So I think there's just one roll for each. Yeah, a different check. You found the Lost Souls location, but the storm has been rolling in fast. Can you get that to them in time and outrun the storm? Okay. Can I use one of... Let's go back to our abilities. Can I use one of our abilities to like super speed, or maybe to give us an extra... Yes, so we can use a sync bond point to re-roll a mech reflex check. We can do it. Yes. Okay. We will use heroic push if we have to. We only have 2 chances, but we can take it for free because we're mercurial. So, let's go. That's a 3. +1, that's a 4. Okay, so we saved it. We don't have to do it. So we hop back into Belmont and when we start, you know, trudging out, back out into the storm. And we're trudging around for a few minutes where that Kairos said was kind of like the general location. We're stomping on through and we almost missed this little bat thing. Can I reroll for the next fail? I mean, if you want. Just let me know. You just have to tell me what the reroll is going to be. But again, we have our abilities too. So we're going to let's try and use some of our abilities. And we're going through and there's like this small outcropping and we almost miss it. But as we were going through, because I mean, our mech has 8 goddamn eyes, we're running and then we stop and turn on a dime. And you know, we get thrown in there. We get thrown in there a little bit. Oh, what did you, oh, wait, did you find it? And our mech bends on down, says, yes, it's okay. And he broadcasts out to the Kaidos, it's okay. You will not come to harm. We're here to rescue you. And the Kairos is just shivering like shit. Scared as all hell. And then there's a giant mech that's come up. Again, people know of the mechs. They just don't know of the Ironborn. So, like, it's probably... Mech pilots are, in some places they're celebrated, some places they're hated, all that stuff. But it sees this mech, and it just instantly, as Belmont opens his hands, he just jumps in, and he kind of holds him a little bit. He says, it's all right. Nothing will come of harm to you. I'm going to assume since I'm a light mech, I'm probably not like fucking 20 feet tall or anything like that. Does it actually say what the actual size is? A light mech? Not really. Prioritize speed over durability. So I'm going to say still it's somewhere in like the 15 to 18 foot range. So he's in there. I don't think that I can fit someone else in. So I'm just going to... Oh, well, we have 8 frickin' arms. Yeah, we have 8 arms. So let's say that we fold up all of the arms in the back. And we kind of keep the first Kaidos in there. So it's kind of like a little safety area. And the next one is going to be the Mech Brawn. So before the storm really picks up there, we dash on out. And then the storm is battering the ramshackle shelter this poor soul has taken refuge in. Cannot hold up long enough for them to escape. 3. -1, so that's a 2. So I am going to use Mercurial, so 1 free ability. So we're going to pop it, and we're going to... 6, baby! Even with it's a 5, so hell yeah. Yeah. So, so let's say he's in I don't know, like the bits and pieces of a service station, right? So as it's all rattling up and bouncing around, this small little bat person's getting all jostled in between. I dash over and Belmont grabs a piece of it and just pulls it on up and says, please do not be alarmed. I'm here to save you. And he puts his hand down and whoosh, the bat person just jumps on in there super quick, and he grabs him and holds him up, and then puts him back in the 8 arms. And like the 8 arms is kind of like a huddle, kind of like a small little fort that keeps him up. And we make our way back there, thankfully. Once returned, how does the community thank you? Did you manage to save them both? What conditions are these rescued survivors in? So they're all of the Kaidos are like, crowded around the main entryway that we can come in. And as we pop in, the Belmont, he grabs the base and kind of like ducks his head in, and steps on in. And they're all chittering and screaming and squeaking and whatnot. I hop on out, and they again gasp for a second. And that one that came up, that asked us, came up. Says, "Oh, did you get him? Did you get him?" It's like, ask big guy over there. And he turns around and kneels down and opens up the arms, and the 2 Kairos just kind of flap on out. And they're all squeaking and squealing and having a good old time, and thank you. And they some of them even slowly kind of reach up to us and like shake our hands or pat us on the back or whatnot, and then quickly get on back. They're still very wary of the Ironborn, but we've essentially saved them. So we are not like a savior to the community or whatnot, but we help them quite a bit, and we've built a little bit more of a bridge. I think so. Yeah, I think it helps. I'm trying to see, because I don't know if we've been playing this wrong. I think what I'm supposed to do is in between each one of these story circuits that I can travel back to our settlement. I think. I mean, we're already in the storm, so it wouldn't really make sense for us to, like, jump out of it and then come back, right? I think so. Yeah. Okay, we'll just keep it going with how we're doing. So that is 1, and that is 2, and that is 3. So technically, we could go to the finale and we could finish. Should we just go to the finale and finish the story circuit, or should we continue with the last 2? Do we want to see how the rest of the storm looks, or do we want to just speed on to it? I say, actually, in the interest of time, unfortunately, we are going to go to the finale. Yeah, because we started this one a little later. I am going to have to hop off pretty soon. So, we saved our bat friends. We have become the new Batman. Going to the end is better for your own survival. Yeah, I know what I want to do, but it's also a community event. I value all of y'all's input. Alright, so yeah, unfortunately, in the interest of time, like I said, this is going to be a quicker stream. So, the finale, Clear Skies. So as the 2 little Kairos come back and we've saved them, just in time, as everyone's sitting there patting me on the back, oh, thank you, we notice, just for a second, that there's no more wind. We don't hear lightning cracks. And we all go to we're all near the door, but we look out. The sun shines, the winds die down, nature is at peace once more. The storm is finally over. Settlers emerge from their shelters and homes, assessing the damage done by the ferocious tempest that has racked the planet's surface. Plans are formulating, rebuilding starts, and the path back to normal life begins. With the nationwide storm dissipated, you are now free to explore and interact as you normally would the settlement. If you are successful in finding your lost or battling the element nodes, the folks of the settlement will want to reward you. They will restore your mech shielding for free, allow you to take a free item from a store, and even name a newly rebuilt amenity after you. Oh, I love that. Okay. So I'm going to say that because it was technically supposed to be with the settlement, but it wouldn't make sense for, like, the space station to go. So I'm going to say that these Kaidos were like a research group that was sent down from the planet. So we're restored to full, of course. We can take as we're going up and we're piloting back up to Saron M59S. We're piloting back up, and they're just talking to us, and they're chittering and they're chattering. And they have like a shuttle, and of course we're flying up with them with the mech. And they're telling us, oh, my cousin has a weapon shop, and we can help you, and this and that, and blah 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 blah. And like, okay, excellent. And we're going to go to, let's see, our system. And let us go a free item from a store. So let's go 6, a new auxiliary system. Let's not. Let's instead pick a new melee weapon and then roll on the melee table. And what do we got? 4 and 1. A concussion maul. Okay, cool. Concussion Maul, 3 plus d6. So now we have a huge hammer. If you hit an enemy with this weapon, add +1 to all defense rolls against them. Okay, hell yeah. If hit +1 def to rolls against them. Okay, cool. And possibly the happiest TTRPG on the stream so far. Yeah, so this one is a little bit more bubbly. I mean, from the art you can tell, but I'm also swinging it as such, right? Because everything that what you do is how what you play is how you play it. I could have obviously made this much darker, but that's one of the things that I do like about this, is that it feels like the end goal of what you're supposed to be doing is always happy, right? Obviously, Call of Cthulhu, nothing happy's going on in fucking Call of Cthulhu. Everything's bad. Everything's bad. Most people are dying. Oh, what's our building gonna be named after? Ballast. Let's go. How about Ballast Works Library? You also haven't gotten beaten to hell yet. Very true, because there hasn't been any combat yet. Yeah, we'll do Ballast Works Library. Ballast Works Library. And then combat kind of works the same, where when you're going up against them, you're rolling a d6, trying to get a 4+ to be able to hit them, and then you're essentially trying to get a 4+ to dodge their attacks. Yeah. Ballast Works Library, I think it's really good. I think it's good. So I'm going to say, like I said, it's why I like that it's a lot more upbeat. And again, you can play a 2-player, you can play it 1 if you'd like. But it's fun. It's fun. They do a few other games. I want to get their other game, I can't remember what it's called, Haunt, I think, or Thirst. It's a horror TTRPG. So if they did a very good, happy RPG, then I'd love to see what they do with Spooky, which we might actually do for Halloween. I already have some ideas for Halloween, but we're gonna do more. But yeah, that was a story circuit in Ironheart. I'll put that in, might put that in my pilot logbook. But yes, if you like it, go check it out. I think they're only, this was 20 bucks, this is 20 bucks. I can't remember what this one is. I think this one's also 20 bucks. And you can also get the PDFs. I mean, the PDFs I think are like 10. The dice, I have no idea, because like I said, this was just kind of spur of the moment grabbing it. But yes, very good, very good. I enjoyed it personally. I hope you guys did too. I think our time on it is done. So, Ironheart, yay, nay? Like I said, I enjoy it. I'm gonna see if I can get either my wife or one of the friends new mech stories night. Well, I was wanting to check out a few different I want to check out different RPGs every time, but we could also do like a RPG Wednesdays or something like that, and we continue on with some of the stories that we've been wanting to see. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I have an 11th one coming. So like I have a bunch of freaking tabletop. Like I said, I want to check them out. And then there's of course a whole cadre of digital ones. But Ironheart is very good. Ironheart's very fun. It's very upbeat. You can make it as such. You get to make a little mech. You get to make a little mech and a little friendo. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love how Ballast came out. Ballast is great. And I do like Belmont as well. Honestly, like I said, it's just, this is a fun one. We might do like weekday stories or something. He needs his cop stash. I know, it's terrible, right? Yeah, we could see where Ballast and Belmont go. Could be fun. Let me know. Yeah, if you guys want to do like Wednesdays or Thursdays or something. A mech dude with a stash would be nuts. Well, here, there we go. There we go. Okay. There's Ballast. It's braided copper wire. I love that. Okay, that's so good. Yeah, if we want to keep on doing it. I think what I might do, because I do have the podcast going, or at least like bits and pieces of it, I'll turn this maybe into an episode, and then I might do some more episodes on that. So yeah, I'll get you guys a link whenever I actually start uploading all this. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I like it. I like it. We might do it. Yeah. And I mean, we could also do another run, another story arc or another 2 story arcs next Sunday. I would like to see at least like to level 2 or level 3. Yeah, fuck it, why not? Okay, but we're done for tonight. So thanks for hanging out, watching BNT and all that good stuff. As always, this one is going to go up on YouTube. And then it will also become a episode at some point. I just really hope the audio balance is good enough for like a podcast, because otherwise it's gonna be a little depressing. But yeah. Do I have it? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Anyways, thanks, and we shall see you later. Bye.